like, you wouldn't tell a lion to not go and eat its prey. And you wouldn't, like, tell our ancestors to not go hunt. And you wouldn't tell, like, a tribe in Africa, you know, that relies on kind of livestock to feed itself. You wouldn't tell them to not go and eat their food.
Yeah. Cool. Let's go with them 3 points. You got 3 good points there. Basically, you got survival, you got moral agency of different species, and what was the third? It was the lion. There was the survival. What was the other one? Ancestors, like tradition. Cool. So let's go with lions first, right? Because we're not lions, so we've got moral agency. So we've got morals that tell us what's right and wrong. They don't have that. They're obligate carnivores in a survival situation. Like, that is their choice. We wouldn't pick another attribute that a lion does. Like, when lions meet each other, they smell each other's bums.
Yeah.
We wouldn't go around. If you went around smelling everyone's bum in Bournemouth today, everyone would be like, Dylan, what are you doing, mate? You'd be like, lions do it. So, you know what I mean? So we can't pick that attribute and then go with that. So that's what we've got different to that scenario.
Yeah.
The African tribe, the survival tribe, and actually that sort of ties in a little bit with the other one. In a survival situation, it's completely different. If me and you were on a desert island and we were there and we were marooned and it was 6 months and we were both dying, and you crept up on me one day with a rock and killed me and ate me, you could probably justify that and say, like, you know, I'm justifying it because I've got to survive. There's nothing else here for me. If you look at the ancestor one, like the tradition, what we had to do years ago is really different to what we have to do today. So just because, granted, they may have had to have done it all that time ago, we're in a position now where we haven't got to do that anymore. You know, we've evolved. We've got Tesco's, we've got Sainsbury's, Morrison, Asda, Lidl. We've got all these choices and stuff available to us. So if we're not in a survival situation, if we aren't back in the caveman times with woolly mammoths running around, and we're not going around sniffing everyone's bums as lions, we now can make a choice.
Yeah.
So the real question is, when you are given a choice, and your choice is as simple as this side of the table you exploit animals, this side of the table you don't, what choice sits better with you?
Well, I don't doubt, like, I agree that there'd be many, I'd say probably the majority of kind of meat that you're buying from the supermarket, the animals are kept in shit conditions.
Yeah.
Like, everyone knows they inject that meat with stuff like, if you actually like meat, you don't go and buy it from the supermarket, you go to the butcher to get your meat. So I don't see what the problem is if you're buying from a farm, like you're buying from where they're like free range. I don't see what the problem with that. Like I myself, I don't feel good if I don't eat meat with most meals. Like, I don't feel like myself.
I understand where you are, mate, because you and me like 5-6 years ago, and I would have paid more for the free range. I paid more for the free range eggs, and I cared about how the animals were being looked after, right?
It's also because a lot of the supermarkets, everyone knows they inject like all the meat with shit and all that.
Yeah. The trouble is, all of the things that you're saying to me, and I'm not judging you for it because I felt the same, they're lies, they're propaganda lies that are told from these industries to the consumer, because when you then go to the butchers and you buy half of an animal, you're not feeling too bad about it. You walk out there thinking, I need this to survive, I need my protein, and this animal was really looked after. The RSPCA stamp of approval's on here, the Red Tractor stamp of approval's on here. This come from a local farm. They can even tell me the farmer it come from. So all of these things are there to make you, the consumer, disconnect from the individual and feel okay about what you've purchased. I've been to all of these places. I've recently come out of a piggery farm. Undercover in there. I'll give you our YouTube channel, you can watch the video. I've been to slaughterhouses. One of the things that stand out when you're at a slaughterhouse is, a big factory farm truck pulls up, 3 layers, pigs, cows, chickens all on there. But you know, the next truck that pulls up is a small holding, and they have 3 cows. So whether that cow is from the small holding or whether it's from an industrial farm or whatever animal you want to pick, they're at the same slaughterhouse, and they're in the same gas chamber. They're having the same knife stuck across their throat. So when you bring it down to that, we all want animals to be treated nicely, but it's irrelevant, mate. When it comes to a slaughterhouse, they're all being killed.
I mean, like, I don't deny that there's slaughterhouses like that, but I don't know how that just because of that you can say that all eating meat is animal abuse. Like,
do you think you can?
There's you got like wilderness like across the countries where like there's a surplus of game, if you go and shoot one of those games, it's a surplus anyway.
Well, we say that about humans though. Well, if I said, oh, do you know what? 8,400,000 is our cap off, right? And when we get to 8,400,010, we can just shoot them 10 random people. There's too many of them. So we need to control numbers of humans. So I'm going to send Dylan into Bournemouth today with a shotgun. And Dylan, down to you, mate. You could go and cull the numbers of human beings in Bournemouth.
Yeah.
For the individuals that you would choose to shoot, it's an injustice, right? So even though you're saying there's a surplus of game in these places, when we shoot that individual, for them it's everything, it's their life. What we fail to see as humans is we fail to see that animals are individuals. And they have, like this dog over here, I just met this dog called Jasper. Jasper's deciding he wants to say hi to people, he wants to go and cuddle people. If he wasn't happy, he'd growl.
Yeah.
They're having a subjective experience, they're sentient. They have the ability to feel pain and fear and happiness. So does a chicken, so does a pig, so does a cow, so does all the wild game.
But look at this game, there's too many of them, like they're invasive species as
Because
well.
we've removed the predators. We've shot the predators, we've controlled the environment so much for our personal gain that we've messed up these ecosystems. So now the predators aren't there to control the numbers to do this. So, but then we can do it in different ways, right? You know, all the game and stuff is there because we're breeding them and putting them there to shoot them.
Yeah.
They're not just happening to turn up and be there. When you look at the population of deer or rabbits and we're saying there's too many deer, the deer are wrecking everything. Well, you could just drop like pellets from the sky that are contraceptive pellets, that they eat the pellets and it prevents them from multiplying too much. There's so many different ways we can control numbers.
How's that any better than just...
Because you're not shooting them in the head. What's better? I can control the way you reproduce, or I could just shoot you.
I mean, yeah, but I'm not an animal. Like, I mean, I am an animal.
You're a human animal. And in all the ways that matter, all the ways that morally matter, you matter the same as the chicken does, as the pig does, as the game does, as everyone else does.
I'll be honest, I don't agree with that. Like, I'm a human. Other thing, like the rest are animals.
That's fine to disagree, but why do you disagree? Like, what is the difference?
Like, I'd say it just comes back to... I'll bring it back to the lion point. Lion's gonna, like, a predator's always gonna kill their prey. Humans have been killing animals since humans have been around. I don't have any moral obligation towards animals.
But we've gone back around in that loop. But my question now is, what is it about an animal that it's okay to do that to? Because if we wouldn't say it to humans, what is the moral difference between a human like you?
Yeah.
And an animal like a pig? What is the moral difference between you two?
Well, humans are my species, animals aren't my species.
Right. So this is what's called speciesism. It's the same as racism, it's the same as homophobism. It's an injustice. You're being speciesist. You're saying, I'm a human, you're a pig, might is right, I'm bigger than you, I can hurt you, therefore I'm going to do it. But is that right?
Yeah, I'll agree that I'll disagree with you there, mate. I don't think that's a thing. Like,
well, you think that it's okay. So now then, let's say that an alien race comes down to Earth, and they're bigger and they're stronger than us, and all of a sudden they put us in the position of these animals, and these aliens go, just humans. I don't care if this guy's screaming for his life in a gas chamber. I don't care.
Yeah, but aliens wouldn't be us. So obviously we'd fight them, and they'd fight back. Like,
but these animals can't fight back. They do, they try and run. I've seen animals in all these situations, they try and run. I've seen cows going into knock boxes, kicking and screaming, being dragged in with electric prongs and being bashed forward with metal rods to go into a knock box to have a knife stuck in their throat. They really try and fight for their lives.
I'm not disagreeing with you that there's very inhumane ways that corporations are...
But what is a humane way?
With the animals.
What is the most humane way to kill? Let's pick an animal, let's pick a chicken. What is the best way I can kill a chicken?
I think the most humane way would to be let the animal just live its life as it always has. You're not putting it in a cage, and then one day you kill it. Like,
how?
I mean, I don't know about. I know like a common method that my granddad likes hunting. He'd go out and hunt whatever, like with a rifle. I'm not an expert on ways to kill animals, and it is sad when you see the slaughterhouses. But I believe if the animals have like their normal lives usually, like, they're gonna get like deaths in nature are brutal. All throughout nature, they're brutal.
So you think that we're doing them a favour by putting them in a slaughterhouse?
Mate, I can't like. I'd agree with you that, as I said, that there's ways that they're killed very inhumanely, but I'm not an expert on ways
Let's
of
say-
killing animals, so I can't comment on that.
Let's say I'll give you even make up a fictional way. Like if you can make up any way. If I said you make up a fictional way, but what is the most humane way to kill an animal?
I'd just say one where the animal dies quickest as possible, to be honest.
Just quick, like lights out, doesn't feel anything, lights out.
Yeah, I mean, that
If we
would be
did
the
that-
most rational one, so wouldn't it be the
Okay.
one where it
No
dies?
pain, no
Yeah,
pain, no fear. Someone just walked up behind them,
Well,
dumb lights out,
It's
they're
like
gone.
if you were to die, as bad as it sounds, at the hands of someone else, you'd probably hope that it would happen as quickly as possible.
Now, if we was to do it to a human, would that be okay?
What, to kill another human? No, I don't think it's okay to kill other humans.
In the same way that we kill the animal, so that like, they're not going to see us, they don't hear you coming, you just creep up behind someone, shoot them in the back of the head, whatever. They're here 1 minute, then it's lights out the next. Is that okay to do it to another human?
No, it's not okay to kill other humans.
So why is it okay to kill animals?
Mate, I mean, it goes back to the point that I think I'll establish that we disagree on.
Well, no, because you just said that we're humans and they're animals. You didn't tell me I said, what's the moral difference? What is the attribute to you compared to the pig that is different? Like, what is the difference?
Like the pig's not, like, it's an animal. Like it's gonna feed me. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
I wouldn't go out killing animals for fun. I'd never do that.
What about would you kill humans if you had to eat them? Like, is it okay to kill humans to eat them? Sorry. Let's say that I really like the taste of humans. Let's say that I really like the taste of humans, and I'm just saying to you, mate, I just don't really care. I'm going to go out and I creep up on people, I shoot them in the back of the head so they don't feel any pain, and then I eat them.
Do you not think cannibalism's like a little bit extreme from this argument, like?
But it's what we're doing to other animals. I think it's extreme to eat the bodies of dead animals.
Yeah.
You know, look at Jeffrey Dahmer. You could argue that Jeffrey Dahmer was the most humane slaughterhouse worker in the world. He used to go out and drug people, take them home, they'd pass out, they would be unconscious, they wouldn't even know. He'd kill them and eat them. Actually, that's probably the scenario that you were coming up with for animals. But we'd look at that and think that's mental. And you think it's mad to eat a human being.
Yeah.
I think it's mad to eat the body of an animal. That was someone.
Yeah, but I don't think there's like a comparison there, to be honest. 'Cause I think animals have just traditionally always been like, I know you'll disagree with me.
But we're back to tradition.
Humans are omnivores, like biologically, like we're used to eating meat and vegetables, like what we can get our hands on.
So that's
pretty
history.
much.
We're back to history and we're back to tradition. But tradition and history, we already agreed
Well,
there
it's
isn't
biology
a...
as well, no?
Well,
It's biology as well.
when you look at the science, and the science is saying that actually a whole food plant-based diet is optimal for humans.
Does it say that though? Like,
It's the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics has stated that a whole food plant-based diet is optimal for all stages of life: pregnancy, infancy, old age. We've got people now who have been vegan for decades and they're thriving. We know the science is there now. It's not questionable. We've got vegan doctors, Dr. Michael Nagra, Minnie Patel. We've got all these doctors that are coming out now with all the proof. We got people still alive from like 50 years ago who are vegan. We know that we can be vegan. But what we try and do is we get in the position where I think you are. I think that you care about animals, and I think you wouldn't like to see an animal being hurt.
I'd never put an animal in pain for fun or nothing.
I bet you I reckon if there was a pig here and someone was trying to kill the pig, I feel like you would probably stand up and be like, what are you doing? And you'd probably stop it.
Yeah,
But I also feel like you're stuck with tradition and all the things that come with it, like the social pressure, tradition.
It's not just social pressure though. Like I know I need like meat in most of my meals, at least 2 meals a day. I
Why?
need some meat. Otherwise I don't feel myself.
But what is it in the meat that you need?
Like the protein, the fats, like meat's one of the most dense, like red meat especially is one of the most densest sources of vitamins and
No.
mineral. It is. Like,
It's not. Have you got Chronometer or MyFitnessPal on your phone?
No.
Mate, next time you're up on there, or I haven't got mine with me.
Yeah.
If you want to look at high protein content food, look at things like tofu, look at things like seitan, look at nuts.
The tofu's like processed.
What, you don't think that your red meat is?
Not if it's like,
What's
not if it's
what-
correctly like sourced. It's
what's
not-
scary about processing a soybean compared to a slaughterhouse and killing an animal, chopping their head off? Because that's all tofu is. It's just processed soybeans.
Yeah, well, mate, I'm not an expert on food either, but
And this is the. By the way, I'm not judging you, and I'm not
yeah.
trying to like be an idiot. But what I'm saying is, your lack of education on it is putting animals in slaughterhouses. Because if you did the education and you learnt about plant-based nutrition, you'd realise that you can optimise your health and then avoid putting animals in slaughterhouses. But you have to take the accountability yourself of doing that research, rather than just staying in your lane and thinking, you know what, we've always done it, this is the way it happens, I'm just going to continue doing this to animals, without actually looking outside the box and thinking, yeah, do you know what, seeing animals in slaughterhouses upsets me, I don't like it, so I'm going to look at plant-based nutrition. But that's on you to do the research of that. Saying things like beef has got the most dense protein is wrong. It's not correct. Also, when you look at eating animals, you can bring in yourself heart disease, Alzheimer's, stroke, all the diabetes, all the stuff that comes with it. You know, so education is going to be key. But I think the most important thing to do is to keep your ethics in the forefront, at the front. Are you against animals being hurt and tortured? You said that you'd never hurt an animal if you didn't have to. I'm telling you, you don't have to. You got other ways. You can be anything you want: bodybuilder, powerlifter, triathlete, marathon runner, anything you want on a plant-based diet. You don't have to eat animals. Do you only eat animals for protein? Is that what it is?
yeah, animals are my main source of protein.
Just for protein?
I mean, eggs as well. Like, yeah, definitely.
Do you know much about the egg industry?
Can't say I know too much.
Let me tell you something, because I didn't know. Mate, I was eating 30 eggs a day as a bodybuilder when I was competing.
Yeah.
Now, the egg industry is like the dairy industry, right? These industries dress up the injustice. So you don't think nothing's wrong. You think, oh, it's just an egg, no one gets hurt.
Yeah.
The egg industry starts from parenting sheds where they put males and females together to fertilise the eggs. The males climb all over the females, they kill them, the males are fighting with other males. You open a parenting shed, there's thousands of chickens and there'll be 20% dead on the floor. It's a horrific place. This is where the fertilised eggs come from. Once the eggs are fertilised and they're hatched, they sex them. Why do you think they sex the eggs? In the egg industry.
Sex the eggs.
Yeah, why do you think they have to decide, oh, this is a male, oh, this is a female in the egg industry?
The males you eat and then the females so they can get more
Nah.
eggs, no?
The females lay eggs, but the males in the egg industry don't lay eggs. They're a different breed of chicken to the ones that you eat. So what happens to these males, do you reckon?
I'm not sure, man.
They get put in what's called a macerator. It's like, you know when you go to Tesco's and you put your shopping on the conveyor belt? They get chucked onto there and they drop into an open blender. The teeth are spinning around. So then the males go into a blender on the first day. The females go off and then they're exploited for their eggs. Around 18 months old, they'll be sent to a gas chamber because their egg laying production slows down. So we think of an egg as an innocent byproduct, but it's not. Same as the dairy industry. The cows are raped, babies are taken, the boys are shot and killed. They're killed at 4 to 5 years old on average in the UK. So all of these products come with this injustice. So going back to you have eggs and you have protein, eggs and you eat animals for protein, does that justify it? Or do you think you can just get plant-based protein?
Well, mate, I think like throughout our conversation, I've gathered obviously you have like quite like strong views and like quite like specific kind of examples, and I don't deny anything that you say about how these processes are happening for our foods that we get in the supermarkets.
Yeah.
And I do think it's wrong. Like I haven't seen like in France, for example, like you see the big lorries with the cages and the chickens literally there, and then they die like drowning their own shit, whatever.
Happens in the UK.
Yeah, and like, I don't disagree or doubt that at all. But my point was just like, the point where we disagreed was I just don't think eating an animal is animal abuse. Like,
how can you take someone's life without abusing them?
Animals are different to humans.
We're a different species.
Yeah.
But if your position at the end of this is, I'm a human, that's a pig, I don't really care, that's basically just admitting that you're a speciesist. And you're saying that because they are a pig, I don't care. You know, whereas that's not a very good position to be in, mate.
We'll have to disagree then, mate, unfortunately. Like, we'll have to disagree then, like, I just think that's just the way the world works.
I'll give you
that's just the way all species work. So like, surely then by that definition, every species is speciesist.
No.
But then, how is not every species?
Because we're going back to a lion, which is an obligate carnivore in a survival situation. It's completely different to you. These animals don't have a choice. They have to do that. You have a choice. Remember before I said you got this table where you can exploit animals, or this table where you don't.
So if we got to the point where science and plant-based allowed us to make foods for every wild animal,
Yeah.
and it allowed us to feed these foods so no animal would ever have to be killed, would you want to do that?
Yeah, of course.
Really?
Yeah, what would you not? If we could say, like, let's give the lions lab-grown meat, and then the lions don't have to eat the zebra and disembowel them alive and kill them, and then we can then work on just creating an equilibrium where no one's killed.
Yeah.
Of course, I'd do that.
Mate,
Would you not do that?
That would mess up the animals so badly.
Would you
Their
not do
whole
that?
DNA and life is revolved around hunting, and that's their whole life is revolved around.
Their whole life is revolved around survival. But if you could give them the nutrients they need, then you've stopped animals eating other animals. You've stopped the violence in the wild. But we can't even really discuss what lions are eating when you're still going to put chickens and pigs and cows into slaughterhouses. Like you got to take personal accountability for you. We can't deflect it to the lions. This is about you and what decisions you're going to make. And just by admitting that you're a speciesist isn't a good thing. That's like you sitting here talking to me about racism and me being like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, mate, but they're just Chinese people. I don't really care. I'm just going to still be like racist towards Chinese people. You look at me and think, all right, well, that's you. Like, there's going to be.
I don't think we could compare that to racism.
What's the difference?
I think we're just going to have to disagree then, to be honest.
I'm racism and speciesism. Speciesism is discriminating against someone because of their species. Racism is a discriminating on someone just on their race. They're both isms. They're both things that we shouldn't be doing. So there's a similarity there. But if you were talking to me about I shouldn't be racist, and I said, yeah, they're just Chinese, I don't really care. You'd be looking at me and think, all right, mate, you're in that small percentage of people who are just okay with being racist. Same as maybe I've got to look at you and say, all right, mate, Dylan's in the small percentage of people who want to be speciesist. You got no empathy towards the animals, and you're quite happy to continue to exploit them.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you, mate, on this.
No worries, mate.
Thing.
Have you got YouTube?
Yeah, I do, mate.
Check out a documentary called Dominion.
Dominion.
It's a black screen with a brown cow on the front. Watch Dominion. It'll be a tough watch, but I challenge you to press it and then let it play.
Yeah.
And get to that end of that.
What abuse is.
Oh, is this the? Oh, this is the thing I was telling you about, the maceration of the egg.
Oh, that's horrible. That is horrible.
But when you buy eggs, this is the industry you're supporting. You know, and if this upsets you, you think I don't want to put a pound towards this. Just simple, mate. Just don't pay towards it. All these systems that we're talking about, they're supply and demand systems. The only reason why these chicks are being put in here is because people are buying eggs. Free range, organic. These are the males. This is the best of the best, by the way. Like, all of them go here. People don't see this. You know, we just look at the tradition. We look at what parents have told us. We look at what grandparents have told us. We never see this.
Yeah.
But if people will see it and understand this is where they sex them, man and female, then you can make an informed decision, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, watch Dominion, watch it all the way through, and you're going to see exactly what happens to animals. Then that might change your mind a little bit when you actually see it. We've been to slaughterhouses. I've been inside farms, and I've seen animals. I've seen pigs in farrowing crates. Maybe 3 months ago, I was stood in a farm, 2 in the morning, next to this mum looking at me with dead babies all around, being eaten by rats. And people don't see that side of it. You know, we see what the industries want you to see. You go in, you see happy cows, you see happy eggs, free range, organic, and we're fed this lie. You know, but it's not fair on them because.
But mate, I'll agree with you on that. Like, these large corporations abusing animals in the same way they abuse so many things in this world, and I think we can agree on that.
Yeah.
Listen, mate, I'm gonna head off now.
Nice, Dylan. It's been a nice to chat to you, mate.
What's your name?
My name's Steve.
Steve. We're gonna
That's my wife, Mel.
Mel.
And mate, check out Dominion on YouTube, mate. And yeah, hopefully
Yeah,
we'll see you
sweet,
soon.
man. I've had a good chat.
Me too, mate. Have a good day, bud.
Hey, take care.